the other phases. The actual insertion. My motto for this is insert the catheters properly. Now, it's ridiculous that you have to say that, but in 2024 you do. You have to say it. This phase lasts from the time you drape the patient until put on that first dressing. Then by definition, the patient is now in care and maintenance, right? So basically, in this phase, we want to figure out what are the best standardized practices and then do the best standardized practices. Not figure out what's the best practice and not do it, because that's really irrational, right? I call this the Trickle-Dunn hypothesis, named after the great Nancy Trick, RN from Royal Oak, Michigan. It's a simple hypothesis. It goes like this. The dressing is vital. Clara Barton knew that if like the dressing looked crummy, it was probably bad business under there, right? And the dressing marks the end of phase 3 insertion and the beginning of phase 4 care and maintenance. That's what the dressing does. So at least we know where we're talking about on the supply chain. All right, so I usually ask, how long does it take to insert one of these central venous catheters? And these are the groups I usually get to speak to. Surgeons, radiologists, critical care, anesthesia, right? So around the world, the surgeons have an answer, how long it takes them to put in, like surgeons like, they got ego issues, they've got, they're good people for what they do, but like around the world, the surgeons tell me it takes 10 minutes to put in line. Not by a stopwatch, it's by their recollection, it takes them 10 minutes. The superior beings from radiology and critical care tell me it takes 5 minutes for them to put in a central line. Now, I was in Pittsburgh pre-COVID, a room like this, and the chief of anesthesia told me to my face, it takes him 2 minutes to put in a central line, right? So I said to him, buddy, I'd like to see you get a consent in 2 minutes. He was there like, what are you talking about? I don't get consent. He didn't know what I was talking. He didn't know what the words meant, get a consent, right? But I'm a generous guy. You can tell, right? And I say, take 30 minutes. It only takes you 10 minutes. It only takes you 2 minutes. Take 30 minutes, right? But how long does an acute central venous catheter dwell in the United States of America on average? And the answer to that is 5 to 7 days or 6 days, right? 8,600 minutes. The math here is fairly simple. The 30 minutes I allow for the insertion divided by the 8,600 minutes of the dwell tells us that the insertion phase is less than 1% of the life of the catheter. So there are 5 phases to this. These 4 account for 1%, and the nursing care and maintenance accounts for 99%. So if you were gonna prevent infection, would you deal with the big blue pie or the little orange sliver? The action's in the big blue pie, but they're related. That's my message. Not that the little orange sliver is unimportant. They're related. The way the nurse can care for this thing depends on how these things are inserted.